What's good YouTube? Cosmic with another video, and today we'll be doing a CTF walkthrough. It's technically not a walkthrough, but just a cool box that not a cool box, but like a cool question, a cool module that I recently did. And I'm doing this because I want to set up a kind of a mini series where I explain my methodology, and at the end of the series, maybe I will spin up a CTF box and I'll just put it online or something to that effect. So whoever hacks it first maybe gets like a 200 and take a look voucher or something. I don't know what the prize will be, but it'll be something small. And also, it's also come to my attention. Um, this is just for some people who are interested in cybersecurity channel or capture the flags, not cybersecurity per se, but like in capture the flags. And this is how I go through, or this is my methodology for a lot of stuff. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So we'll first start up the IP address. Yeah, we don't have a terminal open. I'm using Kali Linux in a VM, so there's that. Am I in the right folder? Question mark. I think I am. So we'll open Tmux, just have multiple windows, and still waiting for the target to spawn. As you can see, our IP address, we can validate that by typing in IP-tech A, and it's Timberton 16.57, and we can verify it by doing that. I don't know why is it taking so long to spawn. Let me restart the page. While we wait, it's a really fun challenge. So we got, here's basically it. Our next host is a workstation used by employees for their day-to-day work. These types of hosts are often used to exchange files with other employees and are typically administrated by administrators over the network. During a meeting with the client, we were informed that many internal users use this host as a jump host. The focus is on securing and protecting files containing sensitive information. And this thing is still spawning, so basically it'll give us the IP address, and there it is. We can test if we can reach it. We can ping that, and we can't reach it. It's TTL 64. One thing to know is that Linux hosts have a default TTL of 64, which is really cool. So if it's 64 or less, most of the time I'll not assume, but I'll know it's a Linux host, and if it's 128 and below, I'll know it's a Windows machine. So that's kind of cool. So we could use nmap tech p is to scan all ports, and the minimum rate we want to scan it quickly, so we can get everything and it won't take long. As you can see, it's 20%, even though it does take long. We could bump up the min rate, but we might get false positives, or we might get false negatives, and it's decreasing on itself, but that's okay. So while that's running, I know which ports are open, but I'll just let it be. Run 99. And this is my thought process, so this is how I normally type. Not every machine, obviously, because there you'll see there's not a lot of ports open on the machine, but the specific ports, as you can see, we have SSH and we have SMB open. So we just could scan that properly. We could come with the nmap tech p 139 or 445, and tech for default scripts and for servers version, and we could type in that. Sorry that my typing is slow. Hands are really cold. I mean, and it's flipping 6 degrees right now. So yeah, not 6 degrees, I'm tweaking 16, but it still feels really cold. But yeah, so SSH, most of the time most of the time I'll check the service version, but lo and behold, most of the time it's really secure. Or if it's OpenSSH.a, it's really secure, or there's no publicly available exploits, or I might brute force it if I've checked other ports and I have nothing else to do, but that really happens. But then we could go to SMB. We could use SMB map, SMB client, whatever you want to use. We could check and list if we could use anonymous authentication or if we could use like a guest user or anything. By default, SMB map will use empty creds like a space and whatnot, and looks like we have access to a share drive. So that's really cool. We could use SMB client, if I can type that, with that and the share drive to access the, doesn't matter because we could use any credentials, anyone can access it. We could ls, we probably should make a directory for this. Let me what do we call it, passwords. Let's go to passwords. Okay, let's go back up, and we have a zip file, which is pretty cool. So we'll get the docs.zip. Oh, I didn't know that autocompletes. That's kind of cool. So I will move docs.zip. Oh no, I'm in passwords. I'll move docs.zip to the current directory, and if I ls this, you can see we have docs.zip. Okay, so first off, I try to see, okay, maybe we have right permissions. Maybe I cannot put it, or what do I have in my main directory? Let's put id RSA, and yeah, we don't have it. It could be cool. Maybe we had, there was another machine, I don't know, there's another machine where you could access the SMB share from the website, from the web app. So I uploaded a web shell, not a reverse shell, and I was able to execute commands from that. It's probably not real world at all, but it was kind of cool. I think it was Ninja or Anonymous on Try Hack Me back in the day. I have no idea. Okay, but I digress. Sorry for going on a tangent. So we can try unzip this, and we have a password. So okay, let's use zip to John. As you can see, I recently did this, so forgive me, and we'll send it to the hash thing. And because we have that, we could use John. What's the hash.text word list equals? We'll use rocky.text, yeah? If we do that, we don't get anything. No passwords left to crack. I don't know why. Does it have to be in a specific order? Looks like it is. Okay. Basically, I think it actually got cracked, if I'm not mistaken, because I did crack it. But basically, Rocky doesn't work at all. The cool part is that, where is this? Resources, that this box gave us a password list and a username list, so we could move that from a downloads folder. I think it was passwords.list. Yeah, passwords.list. We'll move it here. So we could try that again. Instead of Rocky, we could use password.list, and looks like there's nothing to crack again. Let me just check something. There should be a John hidden folder. Yeah, let me just remove everything here. Yeah, if I exit that and I try to run this, oh, I know why. So basically it did crack it, and it was still in the John part file or whatever. So it knows the password to this particular file, but I deleted it, so now it doesn't know. That's why it's running differently, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but please advise me. I don't know if I'm speaking cherry, so maybe I'm hard to understand, but yeah, I digress. Sorry for going on a tangent. So that doesn't work. So because we have a password list, we could try and mutate it, because let me show you an example. Most people don't have passwords like password anymore. Most people will append numbers or letters, or punctuation, some sort of punctuation. So what mutators do is that they will mutate the entire word to what people might do to their passwords, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining 100%. So we'll get the casing will be like the password casing will fluctuate a lot, and it'll be like 123 with two exclamation marks or whatever, kind of like that. So that's what we can. There's a lot of tools that can help us with that, but we'll use Hashcat to mutate our passwords. Because if you check our password.list, let's not check the whole thing, but let's just check the head. That's the kind of password. So if we mutate it, we can use this command with the passwords.list, and then we talk about the rule. If you want to read the rule, we could check excuse me, custom.rule, and it takes like a second position, and this might be an exclamation mark, and this might be some other stuff. Not entirely sure, but that's how it mutates our password. And it will mutate our password, like it'll take the 8th character, the 3rd character, and put a hash at the end. A C probably means a comma, a colon. I'm speaking out of my mouth. I don't exactly know what it means, but you'll check when we're done. So we'll use the cut. There's a lot of rules. You'll see there's a lot of rules. You can make your own rules as well, and we'll use standard out, and then we'll sort the unique passwords to I don't know, we'll make another password.txt, and that's gonna sort everything from this output and store it in a file. So if we hit passwords.txt, there we get, okay, not I don't want to read it. I might crash my VM, bro. I didn't allocate a lot of memory. But if we kept passwords.list and we check how many, we have 203 entries, or 203 passwords basically. If we do the same thing for our text, we have 94,000. So you can imagine. Actually, let's check the last text. We have yellow. Like, you see how they all mutated for the same password? If we do the same for .list, it's probably, yeah, it's gonna be different, but you guys get the idea now. We mutated our passwords. So now we could do the exact same thing again. We could use John, wordless, and instead of password.list, we could use password.txt. And then we could problem hash, and oh, we get a password that's mutated. That's cool. So let's unzip docs, and I'm not, what's it? Oh, it's just passwords. I was like, which directory am I in? So we unzip docs with Destiny 2022 exclamation mark, and we get it. Okay, that's cool. So I was like, okay, I don't think I have Libra installed. So let me just check a docs X V9 or something. Went to the first one. I was like, okay, let me browse the file. In passwords. It's loading up, and I was like, yay, we might get sensitive information, maybe credentials if we're lucky. And they asked for, it was password protected. So we do the same. This is basically passwords. It's not my methodology for everything, but this is specifically passwords. I don't know if you guys want me to do the box, like a box I've never seen before, so I can actually show you my methodology, or how I go about approaching boxes. Even though it might take a while, but I have some videos on my YouTube channel that show how I approach box that I've never done before. I've done live or whatever, so you can go view that video. Sorry for the quick plug, but let's get back into it. We could do the same thing. So I know there's Office to John. We can use Office to John with the .x hash. That's cool. So we'll crack it again with thingy. With is Office hash. What did I name the hash? .x hash. And then no, not wordless. We could use the passwords.txt. My bad. And do we find it? I'm not supposed to be running things in the VM. You shouldn't run it in a VM. You see that whole spike? I might even crash the flipping thing, the VM, or my whole PC. Who knows? But we know the password's that 921. So there we get a password for the documentation. Yay! That's really cool. So we might have access to sensitive information. So I was like, okay, let's check. First thing I realized, this looks like it's a XML file or settings XML. I see we have a MySQL instance on the box. That's something I definitely remembered. Checked, we obviously have a root user. There's always a root user, excuse me. And I went down because the password field was empty. And I did try empty password but didn't find anything. And then I see, okay, we have JSON on the box with this password. So my first instinct was like, okay, let's go back to SMB client. As SMB client, let's use these creds that we just got as JSON. And do we have access to other shares? So I said, excuse me, SMB map with a U JSON with this password wherever I left it. Okay. Long story short, I didn't have access to any other shares. Still the exact same shares, even if those found. So I was like, okay, SSH, let's get into JSON. 129.132, yeah, 71, and we'll use those credentials. Do we have access to the box? And yeah, we have access to the box with those reuse credentials. Never use reuse credentials and never send credentials in plain text. At least try encrypt it. You could do it in a lot of ways with OpenSSL, and there's a lot of ways to encrypt a file. So I was like, okay, we have to get root at the end of the day. If you check here, we have to get root. So first instinct is like, okay, let me see if there's any set user ID binaries. I can't run sudo on the machine. So I was like, okay. Long story short, I went to a lot of my usual, but then I came to history. Oh, there isn't anything in history. Or is that the other box? I think it's another box. Okay. So then I was like, I came up here, and remember we saw a MySQL instance. We could check, is MySQL running on the box? Oh, 3306. It's running on the box. So we know we have MySQL on the box. So I was like, okay, if I do a MySQL and loading with these creds and an empty password, oh, we don't get anything. So that was probably wrong. But we know someone's password for sure. We know Jason's password. So let's try with Jason's password. Oh, so we could say show databases to see are there any databases. Excuse me for that. I can't type for the life of me. So we show, oh, let's use the users database. Let's show the tables. What tables do we have? Oh, we have a creds table. So we could select everything from creds and just like display it. And then I start reading, oh, maybe root's passwords here. So I essentially did just from creds where name equals root. And doesn't look like we have root. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I see every password has a surname except this Dennis guy. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Let me actually copy this. Why does Dennis not have a password at all? So I copied this and I left because that's all we had. I Etsy password and then I crept for Dennis. Is Dennis on the box? And I was like, oh, there's Dennis on the box. So if I SU Dennis and maybe it's password you use, and look, oh no, we're Dennis now. And I was like, okay, now we're Dennis. That's cool. So now we have Dennis's creds. Can Dennis run okay, Dennis can run thingy on the box. I decided to come to what's this thing? SMB map again. Maybe Dennis has other creds. This is my thought process, even though it didn't get me anywhere, but that's how you have to think. Okay, we got new credentials. Let's try use these credentials somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, I think did I just clear the screen? I think I cleared the screen, bro. And is it on my clipboard? Yeah, it's on my clipboard. So I was like SMB map dash u Dennis with that password. While that's running, no surprise, we still get access to the same share, so we didn't have any permissions. So I went back and I was like, okay, what does Dennis have? Are we in my home directory? So after checking for so long, I found the SSH folder and I was like, okay, we have a private key. Oh, that's shared by Dennis. So I was like, okay, maybe we can use the private key as root. So I decided to set up a Python web server. If I can type. Just get it, it's 129.132.71. Tech 8000, ID RSA. I decided to fetch it, and you can see in our current directory we have it. So then obviously we'll change the permissions to 600, and if you see now it was read write for everyone, but now it's only read write for root, if I'm not for Daniel, for the owner of the file. So I canceled that and I was like, okay, can I just do this? Is this viable? 129.132.71. It won't allow us, obviously, because it wants a key. Could access that, and do we get it? Oh, it wants a passphrase. We don't know it. So we could say SSH to John. Again, to hash.txt. I think I already had a hash.txt, but it's fine. It just overrode the previous one. So I did that, and I said the same thing with the password.txt. If the password isn't here, then it won't crack. I think I should have said that earlier, but I digress. We could check hash.txt. Does it crack? Oh, we get a password. That's cool. So I was like, okay, we have another password. It took me about like 32 minutes to an hour because I was like, okay, let me check for creds. But then the worst thing, and I was like, this won't work, yeah? This command on water, right? I was like, there's no way this will work. So I put this in with my private key. I pasted it in and I got root, which isn't really conventional. I don't think it's real world, but it does teach you a lot about how a lot of people, how password reuse can help you compromise a machine, if that makes sense. So if you do go to root and you kept that flag and I put 2, you do get the thing, and yay, that's the box. And it might seem like a short video, it probably is, but it does take a lot of thinking, and you have to go back and backstep a lot once you found something new. You know what I mean? But if you like the video, please like and subscribe.